One of my favorite stories of all time was a pastor friend from Colorado who had done some ministry in Africa. And he just saw extraordinary miracles. So he's flying back. He flies back through Europe and flying back across the Atlantic. And he's in his seat. And he happens to have my book, A Face-to-Face with God. And he's hoping just to be able to have some quiet time. He's tired from the trip. He just wants to read, catch some sleep, fly home. So he's sitting there, and the Lord speaks to him and says, the woman across the aisle hurt her back 2 weeks ago. I want you to pray for her. And so he's not really wanting to do that. He's wanting more of a quiet time. You know, Chris and I are just very different. When Chris gets onto a plane, he wants to talk to everybody around him. Everybody. And he won't tell them he's a pastor. He'll tell them he's a motivational speaker or something. Because if he tells them he's a pastor, people don't want to talk. I'm the opposite. I tell them I'm a pastor so they'll leave me alone. So that's just, we're just a little different in that regard. I'm there, I'm tired, I want to sleep. So anyway, I'm not suggesting you do that, I'm just confessing. All right. So this guy that gets on the plane is, this lady's across the aisle. He leans over and he says, did you hurt your back 2 weeks ago? And she says, well, yes. How did you know? He says, well, sometimes God talks to me. He says, I was just in Africa and preached the gospel there. And we just saw all kinds of miracles. I'd love to be able to pray for you. And she said, yes. He ends up praying for her. She falls out of the chair into the aisle on the ground. And right about that time, the stewardess comes up. And is there a problem? Do I need to get a doctor? I've been in this position, and there isn't an intelligent answer. There's nothing you can say to make this feel okay. I had this hotel maid had cleaned my room, and she left a note that she had, when she walked into the room, the power of God hit her at the door, and then she was making the bed. The power of God hit her when she touched the bedclothes. And then she started looking around, whose room is this? And she saw a fruit basket that had my name on it. She had attended the meetings in that same church a year earlier. So she realized she had come to work that day sick, and the Lord just healed her literally through so she left me the note with the story. So when I came back to my room that afternoon, I found the note, and I saw her down the hall. She says, hey, Pastor Bill, did you get my note? I said, I did. I said, come here, tell me more. So I put my briefcase to leave the door open. She stood in the hallway with her cart and stuff, and she just told me the story. I went, that's amazing. Thank you, Jesus. I said, can I pray for you? She said, sure. So I pray for her. She ends up on the floor. Right at that time, ding, 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 the elevator door opens. A gentleman walks around the corner. He's got a brown bag with a bottle. I'm pretty sure it was a Coca-Cola or something. He was going to his room. He had a court case the next day. He was very troubled over. I found out later. So anyway, he comes around. He says, can I help? I said, no, everything's fine. He said, no, seriously. Can I? And I realized, you got to come up with a better answer than everything's fine. You've got an Hispanic woman laying face down on the carpet with her cart. You got this guy standing over her. This doesn't look good. This doesn't look good. And so I'm scrambling for answers, to make this make sense. I said, she's praying. And he says, oh. He said, we could all use prayer. And he walks on to his room. So I thought, well, this is an open door. So he's getting to his room. I said, hey, I'll pray for you if you'd like. And he said, that would be nice. And he came back. And that's where he told me some of the story. I said, put your bottle down, put the bottle down. Stands in my doorway. And I began to pray for him. And the power of God came on, and we just began to tremble under the power of God. And I thought, instead of trying to talk him into the kingdom, I just said, repeat this prayer after me. I did. Just had him confessing his sin. It was just amazing. So I know a little bit what it's like to have something happen that you can't explain, and anything you say just makes it worse. Oh, she's fine. No, really. No, really. So here he's on the plane. A lady's laid out. The stewardess says, do we need help? Do I need to get a doctor? And he's trying to explain she's fine. About that time, she comes to. And she says, this is a man of God, just preached the gospel in Africa, where God used him to do all kinds of powerful things. And he just prayed for my back. I slipped on the ice 2 weeks ago, and God just completely healed me. And the stewardess goes, I've had this problem with my right knee. And so she asked him to pray for the right knee. She says, will I fall down? He said, I don't know. It's like, be honest, I don't know. And so he prays for her. When he's through, he gets up, turns around, and he's got 3 or 4 people in the aisle waiting for prayer. So he starts praying for the first one. I mean, stories like this just get around. These are stories of courage. Starts praying, and he hears over the intercom, ladies and gentlemen, we have a man of God on the plane who's returning from Africa where he preached the gospel and he saw God do all kinds of extraordinary things. He just prayed for a woman with a back injury who just got healed. He just prayed for my knee. My knee is healed. If you need a miracle in your body, meet him between first class and economy in that section there, and he will pray for you.